Finally, we meet again and again and again, and we're here.
Nice cover.
Yes. You started by talking about going. Don't just stay in the place that you've outgrown or doesn't seem to be working right.
Be selfish enough to gravitate toward what feels good to you. Do you think that your ability to sift through life experience and discriminate is a valuable thing?
Yes.
And once you've identified preferences, don't you think that it would be a good idea for you to provide for yourself as many of those good feeling preferences as possible?
Oh, yes.
So why put up with stuff that doesn't feel so good and use the stuff that doesn't feel so good as a means of practicing a vibration that won't serve you?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what got me on the Alaska cruise, which got me here. Which was all saying, that little bit of money I had saved that was kind of a sense of security, I realized wasn't as valuable as a cruise that would give me a new vibrational stance, a new way of looking at myself and my potential and the life that I could live.
Well, you want to always keep that in balance. What causes you to feel better is always to your advantage. But let's say the idea of something feels good, but the money really isn't there. And so you borrow it or scrounge it or take it from someplace else. And then you feel uncomfortable about that, but you do it anyway. Not such a good idea. It's keeping yourself in the best feeling place that you can. Yes?
Sure,
So it's not about the action. It's about whatever you can do in order to bring yourself to the best feeling place that then inspires the action.
Yes.
Yeah. So now what?
So now what? So what's next? You said it's about doing 40% less action. So if what's
next is about doing less action, then let's say that instead of talking about what we're not going to do, let's talk about what we are going to do, which is more contemplation, more gentle focus, more general focus, more tuning of vibration, more tuning into source, more recognizing of vibration, more sensitivity to emotion, more deliberate producing of positive emotion, more momentum building of positive emotion, more unconditional experience, more basking, less thinking, more awareness, less action, more
intentional fun, more intending to just be.
And from that will come other things. But this isn't going to lead you to less action. This is going to lead you to more pleasing action. This is going to lead you to more positive rendezvous. This is going to lead you to more productive contemplation. This is going to lead you to better ideas to better serve you in terms of your action. This is going to cause you to trim off your timeline. This is going to cause you to close the gap and speed your journey toward more of the things that you want. This is going to bring more interesting people into your life. This isn't a conversation about less action. This is a conversation about a little different perspective, which causes less resistance, and less resistance doesn't cause less action. It causes less action that doesn't feel good. You may find yourself more active than you've ever been in your life and feeling more vitality because there won't be as much resistance that is the only thing that slows you down and makes you tired. Clarifying?
Yes.
What else? We used to tease you and say you're human beings, not human doings. But we don't want you to think that we don't want you to do, because doing is really, really fun. But doing in alignment with source is blissful doing, and doing in order to compensate for not being in alignment with source is miserable. So we're just wanting to help you to get your priorities straight. So what does that mean? How does that play out? What's the practical method of that? What does that mean? What do you do in a day? What are you planning to do differently as a result of hearing this conversation?
Well, one of the things that I have done differently because of hearing this conversation is, rather than trying to get a job to pay the bills, I really attracted a job that I really love to do. That's a lot of fun. Working with airplanes. I've been a pilot since I was 17, but got out of it for a while, and rather than work in a job in an office that made me a lot of money, I decided to follow impulse to be around airplanes, which always excited me, which always
So now clean that up a little bit and acknowledge that one doesn't take the possibility of the other away. In other words, if you put working a job and making a lot of money in one pile and doing what you love in another pile, what did you just do with all the money?
Yeah, I took it away. Yeah.
You left it over there in the hard-working sacrificial pile. So contemplate that differently. Tell that story in a prettier way. Does anybody ever do what they love to do and make a lot of money? We want you to know that the people that make the most money are the people that are doing the most of what they love to do.
Yeah.
Because if you're loving it, you're open to source, and all of those possibilities are streaming to you. You've got great timing, great inspiration, great ideas always come from that. And so don't put money outside of the pile of doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Put it in the same pile.
I work with executive aircraft, so I'm around people who own their own 20, 30, 40, 50, $60 million airplanes that they fly all over the world all the time.
All right, now so say that in a way that's less resentful.
I get to pick which airplanes I like the best.
But those people, those entitled people. Now, we're teasing you, but there is a vibration in there. In other words, I get to work in people. So is this your point of attraction or not? Are these magnificent airplanes your point of attraction? Are these magnificent airplanes the point of attraction of the people who own them? Are these magnificent airplanes the attraction of the people who fly them?
I'm getting close to being able to fly them as a pilot.
What we're getting at is your association with them. Is that your point of attraction? Do you give yourself any credit for that? Stop differentiating the ownership of it and start talking about the vibrational credibility, the vibrational currency. Law of attraction has brought you there too. Own that.
Right.
Own that. And as you play that separation that you just fashioned for us down a little bit, because you didn't mean to present that vibration to us, you just couldn't help it because it is there. You see what we're getting at?
Yeah.
So give yourself credit for your point of attraction. Do you?
I do.
So now what?
I live in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
And I came from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Newport via a meditation retreat
Yeah.
in northern Vermont. Yeah.
Now what?
Now what? So I have glimpses of, I have experiences of times.
That's good. Did you see what you just did? I have glimpses, and then you realize they're more than glimpses.
Yeah.
I have true ownership of it. Did you see how you shored that up?
Yeah.
Did you see how you made that vibration mean more and you stayed there longer? That's deliberate creation. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you have experiences that
I allow the intelligence that is my inner being to flow through me in a group of people. That's an absolutely beautiful experience that just lights me up and just lights up the group. And there's this feeling of just
at oneness.
Yes, and richness and life and this clarity and this.
So those are moments that are exactly how all moments should be.
Yes.
That's who you are. That's what life feels like to you. Now that you're right there on that subject, milk that just a little bit. Feel it a little more. If you were by yourself, you wouldn't even need to talk about it. You could just sit in that feeling. Just sit there and own it and know it and remember it and keep it going just a little more. It's not waning yet. It's not beginning to subside yet. Yeah. So now what? Now what do you want to do? Parlay off of it. Make it a little more. Make it a little bigger.
Yeah.
Leave it in an even better place. And by saying and
it is who I am. And it is who I desire to be all the time. It is how I desire to.
It is who I am often. It's often who I am. When you say it's who I desire to be all the time, now you're focused upon the time that it isn't.
It's not, right?
It is often who I am. It's who I am more and more. It feels more naturally me. It's more logically me. It's the next logical step.
Yes.
I know it when I see it. I can get there anytime. I go there frequently. Doesn't matter if I'm not there. I can get there anytime I feel like it. It's something that is familiar to me. I know how to do it. I know what thoughts take me there. I know what thoughts detract from it. I've got this going on. And
it's the real me. It's me being genuine. It's me being an expression of who I really am.
It's me out on the leading edge. It's
Me on the
being,
leading edge.
It's me being all that I am meant to
Forward
be.
thinking.
It's me having fun. It's me having adventure. It's me being fulfilled. It's me living on the leading edge. It's me playing it all out in a fuller fashion. It's me taking the vibration that I've practiced into further and further fruition. It's me recognizing that I'm doing this. It's me feeling my own empowerment and
basking in that.
yeah, that's who I am.
I would really love to talk about trust and the power of trust.
We want to put in the word, in the conversation about the concept of trust, we want to put the word knowing, also the word clarity, because what absolute trust is no monkey business in your vibration, so that there is only alignment to who you really are. So you stand in utter clarity and utter knowing. And the only way that we know to bring any of our, excuse the bulky terminology, physical friends into utter trust is by helping you to realize that you can be more unconditional. In other words, as you are observing your reality or the conditions of your reality, sometimes that observation produces within you a vibration that causes a split between you and you. And then you don't feel trust. You don't feel sure. You don't feel clarity. You don't feel knowing. So it's important to close that gap so you can feel trust, so you can feel clarity. But if all you're looking at is the current reality, if you're looking at the circumstances, if you're looking at the conditions, then you're likely not going to find it. And so that's why we're talking more and more about reaching for the emotion, which is less conditional. Now, by your wise acknowledgement, an emotion certainly is a physical manifestation. You can feel it, it's real, but it's less physical than the car in the garage. And so we're talking about degrees of vibration. We're really talking about turning those thoughts to things. So feel with us how through the living of life there is this vibrational reality, and let's call it source. Let's call it source that is resourcing all that is. Let's call it the energy that creates worlds, this stream of consciousness that is flowing. And so here you are having some relationship with that. And let's say, for whatever reason, you are in a high-flying, good-feeling place. Maybe you meditated, so you just stopped resistance and your vibration raised. Maybe you got on a rampage of appreciation so that you deliberately tuned your vibrational frequency into a high place. But in any event, you're right there in that high-flying place. So here is this source energy offering this knowing. And you're standing in an attitude of trust about it because you're not doing that thing that you do that keeps you from feeling that. So now you begin to receive in a real way, which now you want to call physical. You want to start translating that vibration into something tangible. And the first thing you translate it into is a thought, an idea that is followed immediately by emotion, which is even more physical. And if you stay there, if you're able to maintain it, then that vibrational frequency that you have now accepted, you own it, you've practiced it, now it's turning into impulses, which certainly are more physical, and more ideas and more rendezvous and more of everything, until eventually, and not very long it doesn't take, you have a full-blown manifestation, and people around you are saying, where'd that come from? And you say, from non-physical. And they say, but how can anything be non-physical? How can something come out of nothing? And that's really the point you're making. It can't come out of nothing. It's coming out of something less tangible, less tangible, less tangible, less tangible. But just because it's less tangible doesn't mean that it's less recognizable. And that's really the point of all of this. We're wanting to make you aware of your own guidance system so that you can feel the realness of that vibrational reality. So that you can feel, so that you can trust, so that you can know the realness of it. And when you do, it's going to come out where not only you, but everybody else can see it too. That's why you all came. You said, I want to be on the leading edge where the thoughts are turning to things, where the non-physical is becoming physical, where the vibration becomes tangible, where I can feel it so that I can guide it and hone it and focus it, mold it and create it.